With the Republican National Convention coming up, they're actually preparing for the possibility that Trump is imprisoned when the convention will actually happen. It's kind of wild to say, right? Grains of sand added to a heap. Let's do the time travel test. Go back in time 8 years, 10 years, and say 10 years from now, the front runner for the 2024 election will be facing a prison sentence before the RNC can nominate him by a few days. No one believes you. I guarantee you, because I lived it and I talk about this all the time. You go back to 2015, 16, 17, 18, and you say, this is where we're going, and they will tell you you're crazy. And to us, it's normal. It's absolutely normal. We're just here. It's kind of wild. You know, when they announced that Donald Trump was guilty, heart sank a little bit. I mean, where are we going? What happens? Every single time we see a dramatic, massive escalation of the conflict in this country, we normalize and adapt to it rather quickly. So I got a funny comment yesterday. I respect it. You know, we're launching Timcast IRL, and I say Ukraine has fired, Western forces have fired U.S. HIMARS rockets into Russia. And after the intro, I say, of course, go to castbrew.com, buy Cast Brew coffee. And people are like, Tim says the world's ending. Quick, buy my coffee. Well, I didn't say the world was ending, but this is a reality. I remember seeing, go look up the videos and the photos of people in the Syrian civil war. Their neighborhoods rubble, active gunfire in the you can hear it. And they're carrying grocery bags, plastic grocery bags from the grocery store, walking down the street. What do? Does life simply stop when conflict happens? No. During all of these wars, all of these conflicts, life continues. And the example that I often use from personal experience is when I was in Egypt during the revolution. I'm standing on the balcony of the Hilton overlooking Tahrir Square. It's like a block or two away. And I can see all of these people. I can see laser pointers, Apache helicopters, APCs in the street. They announce the president has been removed. And we're like, holy crap. And just down at the bottom of the street is a McDonald's and a guy's eating a cheeseburger. Without a care in the world, watching a game of soccer. We hop in a cab. We go to the mall. Everyone's walking around. They're buying smartphones. I order some kebab. Delicious, by the way. Life is normal despite all the craziness and the political instability. And that's what we're seeing now. But I warn you, and the reason why I bring this up is, this is why people can't see the conflict before their very eyes. They're walking through the forest. They don't realize they're in it because they can only see some trees right in front of them. That's where we're at. The Post-Millennial reports RNC plans for possibility Trump is imprisoned during the upcoming election. Become a member over at timcast.com before we get started and support our work directly. If you're listening on Rumble, we're huge fans. We love Rumble. We don't make the same kind of ad revenue on Rumble, but we're going to keep our videos here because Rumble needs to succeed. So, of course, you can go to timcast.com, become a member, support our work directly, and help us keep making these clips. The RNC is strategizing for a potential scenario. Former President Trump, the presumptive nominee for the GOP, faces incarceration during the convention, as revealed by the party's chair on Tuesday, according to a report in The Hill. Last week, Trump was convicted in 34 felony charges. This we know. His sentencing is set for July 11th, just days before the RNC convention. In response to this development, Speaker Mike Johnson has urged the Supreme Court to intervene. RNC Chair Michael Whatley has expressed confidence that Trump will be officially nominated at the party's mid-July convention in Milwaukee. Quote, "Yeah, we're working on that right now," Whatley told Newsmax. "I'm actually going up to Milwaukee this week, and we're going to have a series of conversations. We expect that Donald Trump is going to be in Milwaukee, and he's going to be able to accept that nomination. And if not, we will make whatever contingency planning we need to make for it. But the fact is, he's going to be our nominee, and he's going to be the 47th president of the United States. We'll cross that bridge, but you sort of have to go into this stuff, as we certainly will be planning on it. We'll be thinking about it, and we're working on that right now. But what we want to do is we want to have a show that is going to roll out Donald Trump and his vision for America, which is going to set up this election cycle." Speaking to CNN State of the Union, RNC co-chair Lara Trump said, "We have to make plans as they happen, and we're going to have several contingency plans. The truth is, It really doesn't matter whether it's from Trump Tower in Manhattan, whether it's from Mar-a-Lago, whether it's from our convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We will nominate Donald Trump as our Republican nominee, and that's what ultimately matters. So it looks like they're actually considering the possibility of house arrest. If I had to put money on it, a week ago, I would have said house arrest. Brandon Strzok of the Walkaway campaign came on the show and said, why? Why would they stop now? He made a good point. He says, forgive me for bringing the black pill, but I think they're going to put him in prison. I think he's right. I'll put it this way. Part of me wants to believe we're just going to get an ankle bracelet. But I don't see why. I mean, every attack they've made against Trump has been to the most extreme degree imaginable, the most extreme. Claiming Mar-a-Lago's worth $18-20 million. Mar-a-Lago's $1 billion property, no question. When they even say it might be $600-700 million, I don't know about that. Because you look at the property listings in Palm Beach, Mar-a-Lago's $1 billion, and they lie. They say that it's worthless. They lie about everything. They're trying to seize his properties. Why would they stop now? Newsweek says Donald Trump prison sentence would create a constitutional crisis. Constitutional chaos, sorry. Trump is due to be sentenced July 11th. Greg Germain, a lawyer and law professor at Syracuse University, told Newsweek that putting Trump in prison would lead to many legal challenges. Trump, the presumptive nominee, faced trial in New York, blah, blah, blah. We know this. He was found guilty. Germain said that Trump may avoid prison because of the huge legal complexities involved in jailing him. I don't think Trump will be given a prison sentence because that would create a constitutional crisis and a slew of appeals and habeas corpus challenges and a mess for the judicial system in trying to deal with prisoner Trump. I don't think the judge cares, and I don't think Democrats care. These are not second, third, fourth order thinkers. These are first order thinkers. This means they're going, Trump is guilty, Trump goes to jail. And then if you go to them and say, have you thought about what happens after that? They go, what do you mean? Trump go jail. And you're like, yes, but here's the whole list. They don't care. This is the fascinating thing about the Supreme Court breakdown. First order thinking is fascinating because in these arguments around presidential immunity, the arguments made by Trump's lawyer were this. If you rule that the president does not have immunity, it will shatter all of these other parts of codified law and constitutional norms as well as the Constitution. That is to say, the language in the Constitution and the language in the laws are shared by numerous other laws and parts of the Constitution. The simple version is, if you have a code, well, if you have law, and it says 2 + 2 = 4, and then you go, we hereby rule that 2 + 2 = 5. This means that any other law on the books, that says 2 + 2 = 4 now changes. And that means there could be a law that says, presuming 2 + 2 does equal 4, this would mean that 4 is the number we use when calculating X. Change it to 5, whole thing breaks. When it comes to presidential immunity, changing one ruling here will mean that a bunch of other laws no longer apply or make sense. That's multi-ordered thinking. Some of these justices can only think, well, Trump is president and he committed a crime, so he goes to jail. It's like, okay, you do realize that will break all of these other things, right? It's difficult to navigate this stuff. So I don't think Democrats are thinking about the long-term consequences of putting Trump in prison. I think they're like, I want Trump in a jumpsuit. Habeas corpus cases are legal challenges to a person's detention. The smart thing will be to give him probation or stay his sentence pending appeal. A decision by Judge Merchan to impose prison sentence would appear biased. Oh, please. It would appear biased. Yeah, okay, dude. Like that's a deterrent. No, I think it is possible. I think it's possible that we see a stayed sentence. They may say, considering the ongoing political landscape, Donald Trump's sentence will be stayed pending appeal. Possibility. I think house arrest is a big possibility because that takes away his ability to campaign. But I think they're going to try for jail for sure. Maybe not in the immediate. We'll see. Michael Domino, a law professor at Widener University in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, also said that jailing Trump would create a constitutional crisis. Imprisonment is extremely unlikely, but it would cause a constitutional crisis. Perhaps, ironically, the crisis is more difficult to resolve as it relates to the campaign than as it would relate to imprisonment after the election if Mr. Trump were to be elected. Although there is no direct precedent for a state's power to imprison U.S. presidents or presidential candidates, it is clear that states cannot interfere with federal authority, including the president's ability to carry out its functions. The president represents the entire nation, and one state cannot control the other 49. The Colorado ballot access case the Supreme Court decided recently unanimously applied that principle to block Colorado from excluding Trump from the ballot. Accordingly, it would be unconstitutional not only for a state to imprison a president, but also for a state to impose such restrictions on travel. For example, that would substantially hinder him from carrying out his job as president. The Constitution grants no special status to presidential candidates, and obviously they have no constitutional responsibilities. On the other hand, if one state were able to handicap a candidate by preventing him from campaigning, it could present a most serious interference with the election, undermining the legitimacy of their results. Again, the Colorado case is potentially instructive. Although it deals with disqualification for office rather than campaigning, if we're really concerned about one state's tilting a nationwide election, imprisoning a major party nominee presents those risks in spades. Oh, yeah. It's called reciprocity, my friends. GOP leaders, pundits, urge party to fight back against Democrat lawfare. All of these types, Merrick Garland, Jack Smith, these are the ones who can, should, and hopefully will be behind bars when we win. Because the name of the game, folks, is reciprocity. Now I must say, Hannah Nightingale over at the Post Millennial, where's my picture? You got Jim Jordan, you got Mike Johnson, Charlie Kirk, Jack Posobiec, Stephen Miller, Steve Bannon, but no me. Biden posted the video of me saying we're going to make lists. We're going to get a deputy attorney general and attorney general ahead of the CIA and the FBI. Shout out Kash Patel. And then we're going to criminally investigate, and where we find evidence, we will seek warrants and criminal indictments from grand juries. And when granted, we will put these people before a jury of their peers and a judge. And then when we have the evidence and prove it beyond a reasonable doubt, they will be convicted and they will be jailed. I will stress, I don't view what these people have done as treason, because treason is aiding and abetting an enemy in a time of war. I view this as just seditious conspiracy against the United States. I think, 5 to 20 years, depending on the severity of those involved. I think anyone who worked in the federal government, who provided any resource to these individuals, if you're an FBI agent and you knew that someone you worked with was involved in Crossfire Hurricane and all this stuff, and you copied a stack of documents for them, and that was it, fired. Because discretion matters. Human Events Daily host Jack Posobiec said Monday, to beat this system is to take action and take power. All of these types, Merrick Garland, Jack Smith, these are the ones who can, should, and hopefully will be behind bars when we win, because the name of the game, folks, is reciprocity. It's called reciprocity. It's called that which is done to us will be done back to you 10 times. And you know what they say about payback? Well, I don't care for reciprocity. I care for accountability. So when, Hillary Clinton destroys public records, she did. When her campaign funds the Steele dossier, the Russiagate hoax, Crossfire Hurricane, all of this was lies. When Liz Cheney blocks evidence from being presented to the American people, all of these are purely corrupt actions and should be dealt with swiftly. That means our legal process of investigation, warrants, criminal charges, etc., etc. Reciprocity sounds nice. It does. But this idea would mean that, reciprocity is to imply we knew they were committing crimes before, but we didn't do anything about it because they didn't do anything to us. I don't agree with that. My view is accountability. And I'm fine with retribution, divine justice, whatever you want to call it. Those who have done wrong must be brought to justice. So we say to our children and our children's children, we are people of honor and action. And those who would seek to do us harm and destroy the fabric of society are swiftly held accountable. And those who are innocent are protected. For it is better that 10 guilty persons escape than one innocent person suffer. These are the standards by which we live and must preserve. So we shall see. But in the meantime, my friends, there is some good fun underway. Take a look at this. While we are here talking about reciprocity, the activists, of course, are making a giant blow-up chicken doll of Donald Trump, and I had to include this, and I certainly could talk more about reciprocity, but we're going to talk about chickens. Anti-Trump inflatable chicken to roost in San Francisco during planned fundraiser. Silly liberals, you have owned yourselves. You see, if there is any group of people who understands the honor, the dignity, and strength of the noble chicken, it would be conservatives. And liberals certainly do not understand the honor they have bestowed upon Trump by depicting him as a chicken is welcome and accepted. Now, I get it. Like they're trying to say he's a chicken or whatever. I really don't understand. I'll tell you this. I am a big fan of chickens because chickens are based AF. And I'm going to now explain to you why. But here's the story. Former President Trump will be in San Francisco on Thursday for a fundraiser hosted by tech billionaires, and a 33-foot-tall inflatable bird lookalike will greet him. Towering 3 stories tall. That's huge. 3 stories? Really? Wow. The Trump chicken has a gold side-swept hairdo and a black and white prison uniform. Danielle Morton, one of the organizers of the demonstration, scrambled to collect a crew to steer the bird across San Francisco during the fundraising event. I'm going to get one of these made. This is amazing. Look at this. This is awesome. Gigantic golden chicken Trump. It's hilarious. Dude, these people have no sense of humor. They're like, we're calling you a chicken. Dude, Trump supporters find it funny. It's funny. But chickens are based, so a golden chicken? Listen, okay, look. You made a golden chicken. Why is it a bad thing? What is the message you are sending? Whatever. They say it's not the first time the bird has loomed over San Francisco. Morton and other organizers first erected the chicken in 2017 during the city's Trump tax march. They inflated it again for 2018, 2021, blah, blah, blah. Trump's going to be raising a bunch of money. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know why it is not an insult to depict Donald Trump as a large chicken? It is because, my friends, chickens have more honor and dignity in their little chicken bodies than most humans do. And that's true. And not to mention, chickens are delicious, and so are their eggs. They are a source of endless bounty, and they're silly and hilarious. You know, I tell you this, my friends. I don't understand how it's possible, and I would not believe that a person could stay depressed while watching chickens do chicken stuff. That is to say, if someone is depressed and you sit them down in front of chickens, I defy you to show me a man who will not smile when looking at those chickens. I'm kidding. I guess some people probably, but they're hilarious. And the roosters do this little dance. It's funny. But here, my friends, here is why I say you have failed in your insult of Donald Trump. You have depicted him as the noble rooster. I'm mostly kidding, by the way, but chickens are based AF. This is from 4 years ago. I remember when we covered the story, and we covered this story. Andre the Rooster. On this, my friends, the anniversary of D-Day, it is a time to show you the story of the noble rooster. Brahmin Babe on Twitter said, our fearless rooster Andre was killed in the line of duty this week. He fought off a raccoon long enough for us to intervene, but he didn't make it. Not a single chicken was lost. He was their protector, a hero. He will be sorely missed. My heart is heavy. Rest in peace, sweet prince. Then there's this. 5 years ago, we lost our rooster today. He sacrificed himself to save one of his hens. He will be missed. Man, it's just so brutal. What do we have in this one? Here's a video. Got a video for you. Let's, no, I don't want a full screen. It's hard to see, but you can see here there's a hawk, and the rooster is fighting it off as the hawk tries to attack the hens. And this rooster goes to battle. And here's the hawk right here. You can see it. And the rooster, he's got him. He comes in. Look at his wings go wide. He goes after him. He's like, you get out of here. You stay away from my ladies. There are a few other stories. There's the story of Cluck Norris and Rufus. There are many such stories of roosters who have sacrificed themselves to save their flock. On this D-Day, my friends, I have two things to say to you. The greatest generation, the men who stormed the beaches of Normandy, who pushed into France to end Nazism, German expansion and imperialism, to save Europe, and some say the world. We had Japan, certainly, and there was fighting in the Pacific Theater as well. The men and women of Pearl Harbor, the brave people who fought in Japan. And, you know, there's that amazing photo of raising the flag over Iwo Jima. We have, in human history, great stories of men who have laid down their lives. They died so that you could live free, comfortably, safe. I saw there's someone posted, Inez Stepman, I think it was, posted a photo of Arlington Cemetery. And she said that we've fallen short of their sacrifice. And I said, don't tell me why you can't do it. Tell them. Go stand before Arlington Cemetery and give every excuse in the world why you could not do it. Whatever it may be. Why you couldn't accomplish your goals, why you couldn't make the sacrifices required, why you couldn't do the push-ups, why you couldn't lose the weight, why you couldn't get the better job. That's fine. Maybe you couldn't do it. That's fine. Don't tell me. I don't care. Tell them. Because they're the ones who died for us so that morons like me can go on the internet and complain. That's what I do. I whinge. I'm a complainer on the internet like so many others. How comfortably do I get to live with my silly skate park and my music studio and all this nonsense with no real risk to my life, but knowing that it's only possible because there are men and women who have decided they will sacrifice themselves for me. And as we praise these men and women in uniform on this day, and we look to the sacrifices they made, I turn now to the rooster. And I make this point in all seriousness. You mean to tell me that there is a rooster, a literal chicken, willing to sacrifice his life, and you couldn't do it? We are beset on both sides by great examples, both lesser and greater. Great warriors and soldiers and men and women in uniform who have stood up as better people than we, and we know it, and laid down their lives for us, and we respect it. And then we look down to the lesser, to the lower beings, the creatures we eat, chickens. And I look to roosters sacrificing their lives. And I'm just like, it breaks my heart. Because when you say that we have fallen short of the sacrifices of those who are laid to rest to each of those sites, each of those graves in Arlington, I'm like, we don't even, many of us don't even stand up to the honor and dignity of a rooster. Don't get me wrong, not all roosters sacrifice themselves. But how could you read a story about a rooster and then claim to be better than them when they know what's at risk and what's on the line? This little goofy rooster, look at him. What is he? He's some kind of silky rooster boy. He died defending what he cared about, sacrificing his life for what mattered more than he. Now, I get it. They're insulting Trump. I get it. But I got no beef. You call him a chicken and depict him as a golden-haired chicken, a rooster to be specifically. Roosters are chickens, by the way. People go, no, chickens are girls. No, hens. It's the hens that are girls, and the roosters are the boys. You make a giant rooster Trump. I tell you this, you are depicting Donald Trump as an animal that we know is willing to sacrifice its life to save those that he cares about. So by all means, make a joke, call him a chicken, whatever, that's fine. I like chickens. I actually, we had the chicken picture from the other studio is right over there. It's a $2,000 chicken painting. It's amazing, by the way. It's probably worth more now because the paintings go. I could probably sell it for a lot and be like, this is the official chicken painting from the Timcast studios. It is what it is. Will Donald Trump go to prison? Perhaps. But by all means, depict him as a creature that is willing to sacrifice himself for those he cares about. And what do you get? Trump supporters believe that Donald Trump is the man who will sacrifice his well-being for everyone else. And I'll tell you this, why would a billionaire have to do any of this? Donald Trump, banging supermodels, porn stars, whatever you want to call him, whatever you want to say about him. The dude had no reason to put himself in harm's way like this. He could have chosen not to run. They'd have left him alone. He could have said, I won't take a second term. Instead, look what he's going through. So sure, call him a rooster. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 4 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.